What is going on, everybody? It is episode 760 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. Today we put up a very thought-provoking, deep poll for you guys. Answer the question, is wokeness dead? Is it dead already, or is it just in its dying gasps right now? What do you think? I only ask, it's a stupid question, I know, and the word wokeness is one that we both despise at this point. But for what it's worth, this is a big conversation that's happening right now, and I think it's genuinely contentious. Yeah. Depending on who you ask.
Could have been worse. We could have asked him. We could have asked him about the woke right.
The woke right. I still don't even know what the woke right is. If someone could explain that to me, I would really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. I'm not keeping up these days.
Life is so much better off social media. It just really is. Guys, answer the poll. We'll check in on it later. Perhaps you have thoughts, questions, comments, concerns on whether you believe it is. You should super chat that, and we'll talk about it here on the air. But hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed to us yet already. Please and thank you. We are past, I believe, 330,000 subscribers, so thank you guys all.
333. That's what the Crystal Chicks would call an angel number.
Okay.
So I guess that must be a good omen.
That's a good omen. So guys, hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Thank you so much if you are new here. So what are we getting into today? Well, it is Friday, but we do have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I just want to just do nothing all day. It's Friday, just sit here. Beach chairs, do nothing, but we can't do that. We got this stuff to talk. I would love that.
Drinking out of coconuts.
I mean, that's like one of those things that it feels like a movie thing.
Yeah. Those umbrella hats.
Yeah. Well, I used to have one of those as like a gag gift. I got one of the hats where you put the beer on either side.
Yeah.
To drink. I never actually used it. It just kind of sat in a closet forever. I never used it.
Where is it now?
Oh, this is years ago. This was 4 moves ago. It got left somewhere.
You should do that with Monster.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next product we'll make. Well, like a PCC beer hat, but it's a Monster
merch.
energy drink.
We could actually do like beer koozies.
Aren't there conservative energy drink companies? I'll shill. Come on, guys.
Come on, send us an email.
I know that all of you like your coffee.
Rowdy, right?
Is that what it is?
Isn't Rowdy
I
owned
think I did.
by,
I think I did. As long as it's not the Blue Rowdy. Sorry, I already lost that sponsorship idea because the Blue Rowdies weren't any good.
Rowdy was owned by someone in the Reagan family?
Okay. Or I have no idea.
I could be completely misremembering.
Maybe it was owned by a Roddy Piper's family. I have no idea. But yeah, there goes that sponsorship idea already. I'm like, oh, and that blue one tasted like crap. Like, yeah, sorry. But, So what are we talking about today since we aren't going to be drinking out of coconuts? We have stuff to discuss. So Justin Baldoni has filed another lawsuit, a $400 million lawsuit against his evil, his evil opponent, Blake Lively.
Evil former co-star, the Hollywood mean girl herself, Blake Lively.
$400 million lawsuit naming not just her, but publicists and Ryan Reynolds and all these people. Even Taylor Swift is involved, though not in the lawsuit. We will talk about it. Yes. We're also going to talk about the fact that Trump is being Nick Fury right now. He's assembling a team. He has hired 3 envoys to Hollywood, ambassadors like Mel Gibson, Jon Voight, and Sylvester Stallone, because he wants to make Hollywood great again. He at one point said that Hollywood has struggled the last 4 years, and I think he missed about 6. He's about 7 or 8 years off, but we'll give it to him. We'll talk about it. Also, what else? I was going to say stuffed animals, but that's not the third topic.
No,
today.
We're talking about fake, wholesome Chungus moments that celebrities manufacture to seem relatable.
Mary's dour attitude, it drags me down, whereas normally, I'm just kidding.
I know for a fact that the first example I ever heard of this was from you, and it was about Bill Murray hopping behind the bar to start bartending, and that's so quirky.
Quirky is different than trying to be relatable.
So there's a difference between a wholesome Chungus and a quirk Chungus?
Absolutely.
Because to me, it's all running together.
No, the Bill Murray one didn't speak to him being a normal guy. If anything, it was the opposite. The Bill Murray one is about him being, he's so weird. You can't predict his next move. I hate that shit.
Well, Timothy Chalamet is following in his footsteps.
And
we'll talk about that.
I give Keanu Reeves the lifetime pass, even if it's hypocritical.
He always gets the pass, and
he gets the pass.
Why I actually am seething at it even more.
We're going to talk about it. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Mary, are you ready to just get started?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to get started. I think we talked about Wendy Williams back when her diagnosis was announced last year. Wendy Williams was diagnosed with dementia and aphasia. It's a progressive neurological condition, so she is now in the process of going downhill in cognitive decline. However, since she retreated mostly from the public eye back in 2022, she hasn't been heard from. She used to be this cultural icon, TV personality, and it would have been lovely to have her still in the public eye during things like the Diddy scandal, things like even the Blake Lively scandal that's going on right now. People love hearing her commentary on things. For years now, she has been locked away in relative silence. Now she has broken her silence. Recently, Wendy Williams called into the Breakfast Club to speak out against what she characterizes as an unjust conservatorship that is holding her hostage. She says she feels like she's in prison. She detailed what's going on in her life as she's living in this luxury senior care facility in New York. She can't leave. She can't connect to the internet. She can only speak to loved ones on the phone. They aren't able to contact her. It's a very sad situation. And from the sound of her conversation on the Breakfast Club, she seems totally lucid and completely clear and sound of mind. So it's confusing for people that she got this diagnosis and is being treated like she has no responsibility over her own actions. She's being treated like someone who's completely spiraled and lost it, when she sounds totally clear and reasonable in a conversation that just happened yesterday. So I want to show this clip from the Breakfast Club where she is talking about what's been going on with her.
Wendy Williams is currently trapped in a conservatorship. If you don't know what a conservatorship is, it's when someone is in charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the conservatee is not able to make decisions for themselves. Wendy can make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of.
Right. It's fair to point out that your 30-minute interview does not mean that you know what her life is like day to day, and you can have good days and you can have bad days when you're in these situations.
You tell us what's going on.
First of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, you know, but I am not cognitively impaired, you know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in New York City, right? And Alex, you know exactly what you're talking about. You flew from Miami to New York, and you were right here with me. Go ahead.
She's there in New York, in this place, essentially like what some would call a luxury prison. This is her room. That's literally her apartment. But the thing about this apartment, and you know this, not Wendy, because you're there, it's small. She has a bed, a chair, a TV, a bathroom, and she's looking out one window.
And, excuse me, through my money, you know, I had this person buy the TV, you know, the kind of TV I like, through this person, because all of my stuff is in storage. You understand what I'm saying? Everything's in storage. And by the way, that was to sell my apartment. But anyway.
Is the person your guardian? Is that who you're referring to, your guardian?
Yes.
Well, you know, Sabrina Morrissey is her name. A&E Network and Lifetime were sued by Sabrina. She claims they exploited you in a vulnerable state. They exploited your condition, and I'm putting condition in air quotes. You signed to do that documentary without your consent, but A&E and Lifetime countersued and said that Sabrina realized the documentary would question the quality of her own guardianship. It actually says in the lawsuit, it appears that Morrissey is misusing her position as a guardian of Williams to silence criticism of her controversial and failed administration of the guardianship. They even used the words guardianship abuse. What do you think of that?
Me and the person that you were just talking about, this guardian person, we watched that 4-part thing on TV together. She was the one who wanted to do that. So I'm watching and writing things down, and she's watching and writing things down, and I saw all of that, by the way. And what do I think about being abused? Look, this system is broken. This system that I'm in, you know, this system it has falsified a lot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
They said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
You've been calling me 5 times a day for the last 2 weeks. No.
Okay.
So she went on there to defend herself and remind people that she still understands what the public perception of her is, and she wants to counteract that.
Mm-hmm.
They were referring to her guardian. She's been in this guardianship since 2022, and very little is known about the guardian that has control over her finances and everything that she owns and her whereabouts. This woman's name is Sabrina Morrissey, and I was only able to find that she is a lawyer and possibly a former manager of Wendy Williams. She sued A&E because A&E produced a 4-part docuseries about Wendy Williams last year, and Sabrina Morrissey claimed they didn't have the proper consent from Wendy Williams because she's mentally incapacitated.
And she's talking about she's taking 7-8 pills a day and she doesn't know what any of them are.
Yeah, this whole thing got crazier the more I read into it. So she is in this place. She says, I feel like I'm in prison. The people here are in their 90s, their 80s, 70s. There's something wrong with these people here on this floor. She herself is 60, by the way. She is able to call her loved ones, but they're unable to call her because she has no access to the internet via a laptop or iPad. She said she's spent her last 3 birthdays alone due to their high security at the facility. She called it emotional abuse.
I mean, look, what happened with Britney Spears? Everyone's kind of like 2020, hindsight is 2020. Mm-hmm. Britney Spears hasn't exactly lit the world on fire as far as being a representative for getting out of a conservatorship.
Right.
Make of that argument what you will. But do I believe that there's ridiculously corrupt law firms that would stand to make a ton of money from a situation like this? Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And this is turning into a Free Wendy movement. Much like the Free Britney. Is that the case here?
I have no idea. Again, like she said, like they said, look, you can have good days and you can have bad days when you're going through something like this, but none of us will ever know for sure because we're never going to get a 24-hour view of her life.
Regardless of whether she's as mentally incapacitated as her guardian claims, or if she's completely sound of mind, it doesn't really matter because this is not the medical care that she deserves, especially not the medical care that she can afford. Yeah. This is abusive regardless of whether she's sound of mind, because she's not even allowed to see people. She also says most of the social interaction she has at this point is with what she calls the nursemaids, who bring her all of this mystery medication. She said that she is given 7 pills a day to take, and she has no idea what they contain. It's to the point where, excuse me, doctor, can you please tell me what this pill is for? So, much like Britney Spears' account of her own conservatorship, she was forced to take medication under those terms.
Yeah. Yep.
She won't be allowed to see her 94-year-old father before he dies. She said, my life is effed up. And her niece, Alex, on the same call told people that if they want to support Wendy Williams, use the hashtag #FreeWendy.
Yeah.
Or donate to her GoFundMe. I found a GoFundMe page, and they're asking for financial assistance in expediting Wendy Williams' return to her rightful home in Florida.
Because she doesn't have any access to her own money.
Yep, it's all being controlled by Sabrina Morrissey.
Yep. I mean, that was mine. Like, it's really funny because one of the hardest stances is like, look, I don't think that they have a right to impose their will on Britney Spears, who was acting and behaving, erratically and weird outside of the realm of, being in a car and doing something really, really dangerous. Like, depending on how laissez-faire you are, like, somebody throwing and trying to catch knives themselves, though she then later claimed that those knives were fake. I'm like, do I really care if a person does that at home alone? If you're an idiot, you're an idiot. I don't know if I really want lawyers to get involved and stop you because, look, we can talk about, for the good of the person all they want, but when this much money is involved, very rarely is it for the good of the person. In most cases, it seems like it's for the benefit of all of the people who will profit from keeping you away from your finances.
Right.
Like, it's just very hard from the outset. Like, depending on what your principles are on freedom and liberty and your ability to live your life your own way, hers is a little bit different because the diagnosis is something that has more immediate consequences, right? Than Britney Spears.
Like, is Bruce Willis in guardianship?
Yes. Oh, yeah,
now?
absolutely. I mean,
no one would dispute that. But what if they started the guardianship 5-10 years ago? That would kind of be like what situation Wendy Williams is in.
So what's even crazier, we'll get to that one in a second. He was already showing symptoms when so people were asking, why is he making all of these bad action movies towards the end of his career? He was making all of these like low budget movies, and they're like, why would a man of his caliber do these films? He was making as much money as he could for his family, and there was at a point where he had to have the lines fed to him in an earpiece. Because he couldn't, like, he was forgetting everything. It was really, really bad. And so they didn't put him under a conservatorship earlier.
That's really sad. I feel like, I know that it came with good intentions that he worked for that long, but he should have just been able to retire at that point. We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I had lunch with Wendy in Houston in 2007. What? When she was doing a publicity tour
we need to get Pop
show.
Culture Junkie on the show.
Honestly, yeah. Kind, smart, very self-aware, knew her audience well. This is so sad. Something isn't right here. I agree. And this Sabrina Morrissey woman being such a shadowy, mysterious figure in the middle of all of this.
The lawyers are always like that in these cases.
So creepy.
The opposite, the complete opposite is the Tony Busbys.
Yeah,
but
really
the
out
opposite
there.
is the extremely powerful shadowy lawyer who
Well, there's one that's more out in the open. Roberta Kaplan is Wendy Williams' personal attorney, and she kind of threw Wendy under the bus here. She actually told people not to listen to that Breakfast Club interview and think that Wendy is okay. She said Wendy has some good and some bad days when it comes to her health, but people should not assume she is totally fine just because she's doing interviews. Wendy is still dealing with frontal lobe dementia, a neurological disease with no cure, and this was last year that the New York State Court found her unable to make legal and financial decisions on her own due to the degenerative nature of the disease.
Yeah. And here's the problem. Like, that's a perfectly reasonable explanation, but it doesn't mean that it's not covering up something more sinister.
Roberta Kaplan says some days are good and that she has a lot of clarity, which is why she sounded so normal and lucid when she called into the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
So I guess we could believe that too.
I mean, to be fair, we have a president who probably should have been under conservatorship for
honestly,
like the last 4 to 8 years. But, he managed to somehow run a whole country himself.
But, I mean, even if she is fully lost, even if her mind is totally gone, there's no reason that she should be treated this way, being deprived of human connection for years at this point. That in and of itself is proof that something has gone terribly awry here, and she needs to have more control, and her family members need to have more control.
Yep.
This is wrong.
And
it's not even really analogous to Britney's situation.
No,
because
it's not.
Britney,
Outside of the hashtag.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the free whoever hashtag, Britney was forced to be out in the world and work that entire time in front of thousands of people doing a Vegas residency. So this is much different. Wendy Williams is basically in a luxury prison.
Yep.
So it's really sad.
All right, let's move on.
I am about to sound.
Of sad.
Yeah, I'm just going to warn everyone. I am about to sound like a massive hypocrite. Okay? We're just going to start off with that disclaimer right now. Gen Z has a certain affection for plushie toys. They love stuffed animals. I am not a stranger to this. I own plenty myself. I believe I have some class about it. I don't take stuffed animals out into public with me like it's my little friend. I don't walk around. I don't take them to job interviews or whatever. I mean, this is just a little bit much. But the New York Post put out an interest piece in why Gen Z gravitates to plushies and why this is some kind of booming industry right now. It's because they identify as kidults and they are deeply emotionally stunted.
Started with the emotional support dogs being let in everywhere.
I mean, even that's better because at least you're responsible for something. Yeah. But no, they are emotionally stunted and need to pet these things and use them for sensory touch. It's kind of like a stimming thing.
This is very different than like buying them and decorating a room in your home with them.
That's how I feel about it. But then if I make the distinction, it just sounds like I'm splitting hairs, you know? But yeah, The Guardian just a few months ago published a piece about avid collectors of plushies from a brand called Jellycat. And a couple of them are Zoomers with disposable income. Ever since Zoomers started making their own money, they've been spending it on the dumbest things.
Well, that is honestly perfectly reasonable given the fact that they've been priced out of the housing market.
They're like, I might as well buy stuffies.
That's what it is. I mean, it's the same reason why it's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to save money for something I'm never going to be able to afford, or buy my food for 900% overage on DoorDash?
They would rather buy DoorDash or buy some consumer good that sparks joy.
I honestly get it. Like, I'm not saying that it's necessarily the healthiest thing in the world, but I get the impulse. I absolutely do.
They interviewed a 25-year-old Jellycat plushie collector named Andrew Elliott.
Just knowing that there's like a brand connected to it just feels less like it's an infantilization and more that it has to do with consumer trends.
Well, there are different types. There are some that only collect one brand, but there are others that collect all sorts of them. Mm-hmm. So there's Squishmallows too. That's a huge one. But Jellycat is one that has its own cult following. So this Zoomer told The Guardian that these Jellycat plushies spark joy for him. He said, "They make me happy when I see them."
This is a guy?
This is a guy.
Okay.
Are you judging now because he's a guy? He said, "They make me happy when I see them. We don't live in the most fun and friendly times, so I think surrounding your house with smiley faces is a good thing."
Look.
So the world is so harsh and cold and cruel that you need to surround yourself with smiling plushies that resemble hamburgers and other food items and inanimate objects.
Look, I don't spend my money on stuff like this, but it's not like I don't buy things that aren't a little bit to like, you know. I would say that if you're to tell me that you don't buy at least one thing in your life that assuages at least the tiniest bit of like a hole in your life, like if you don't fill it in with at least one consumer product, I doubt it. At least if you're single, if you got a family and kids, maybe, you know, all your purchases are of the up and up nature. But I bet you most people, if they're not married, don't have kids, they buy something that they don't necessarily inherently need.
Yeah.
But it does. For me, it tends to be shirts.
Well,
new shirts.
I mean, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with buying something that improves your life or makes you happy in some superficial way. I don't think that's wrong. I guess it just starts to get weird when you're buying things that are inherently infantilizing. Not just that. It's not just as a decoration, but like to really like snuggle with it and like personify it. They're like anthropomorphizing them and like treating them like their friends and their children and petting them and holding them and like looking them in the eye.
People are mentioning alcohol in the chat, for instance. Okay, so which one would be more self-destructive for the average person, right? Then it depends on how far it goes, right? If it's a person who's buying a bunch of furry stuffed animals and it's infantilizing them, that is obviously not healthy. But depending on how much alcohol you're consuming, and that's, remember, coming from an addict in recovery, so this is not necessarily hypocritical. It's from a place of understanding. Buying something that dulls your senses for another reason is also just the same thing, but with a different type of consequences. Men would see it that way.
There is a false dichotomy here, and I think there are more benefits to be reaped. As a social drinker, I will say there are more benefits to be reaped from drinking for fun.
Well, that's what I'm not. They're saying alcohol, but they're not saying I buy this much alcohol. Yeah. That's a completely different discussion.
If you are spending as much money on alcohol as these people are spending on plushies, you have a problem.
There was just an article. So you know. They just had another one of those articles on Twitter that was going viral today about like the level of alcohol use per generation. It was like boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z was like way down here.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, it's not because they're healthy. It's because it's poppers, vapes, and pills.
And loneliness.
and stuffed animals.
Another interviewee in this piece started her collection 9 months ago. She kind of uses these plushies as a stand-in for a service animal. At least that's what it sounds like. She has severe anxiety after leaving an abusive relationship. Has also been left paralyzed down one side after having 2 strokes. She says, I was given a jelly cat as a present to help with my anxiety, and I fell in love with them. I didn't know anything about them before.
Wait, so this person was in an abusive relationship and is now partially paralyzed?
Separate issues.
Let them have the stuffed animals. I have no problem with that.
It's lived on my bed ever since. They make me feel calm. They help with my anxiety. If I'm anxious, I'll sit on my bed with them. I like stroking the rabbit's ears. It takes the edge off things. If I'm feeling anxious, they bring me one and it helps. It's more than just collecting them as toys. It's like you form an emotional bond with them. But yeah, they ask these 2 Zoomers in this article why they find comfort in them. And one said, I didn't expect my collection to balloon like it has, but I like the fact that I can look at them and remember where each one came from, how I felt when I bought them. I wouldn't have envisioned collecting these toys at this point in my life, but I'm glad I have something that makes me happy. They asked a psychotherapist why these young adults are motivated to surround themselves with these toys. They say, when we feel anxious, it can help to focus on an area of our lives that brings joy. As adults, life can be overwhelming. The stress surrounding things like work, family, politics, and climate change can lead to feelings of dysregulation and a sense of being unsafe. These plushies...
Well, they had me up until the climate change part.
Plushies make the kind of toys that we had in our cots. They mean in our cribs as babies. If you think about the world of a baby, it's usually a safe place where we're surrounded by smiling faces in human or toy form.
Look, I would be willing to bet that there's at least some men in the chat that enjoy Lego, like building the full intricate Lego sets and things like that. And those types of builds, people that collect like figurines and stuff like that related to characters that they like. I think that most people actually in this space, if they're not just dunking to dunk, would at least be able to find some analog in their life to maybe not for the same reasons of like finding a moment of comfort, but they have something, a hobby that involves something that is not a necessary purchase that they enjoy.
We have another 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I worked with a news director in 1996 in a top 10 market NBC affiliate who was in her 40s and had an office full of Beanie Babies. I don't want to guess how much of her income went for her collection.
I mean, it was 1996. If you're in 1996, you probably did have a bunch of Beanie Babies.
But that's a good point, because it's not just Gen Z that did things like
Correct.
this or collected things like this that seem a little bit childish. This isn't a brand new thing. They're just noticing that it's becoming more socially acceptable to embrace this out in the world.
Now, if we're going to talk about bringing them to job interviews and going out into public with it, that is a completely separate discussion. Because if I saw a dude coming out with his Millennium Falcon Lego set put together on his way to a job interview, I'd think there was something wrong.
Yeah, definitely. They say it's becoming more acceptable. A lot of people are taking the approach that I don't care if other people think this is dumb. This brings me a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy, so I'm going to keep doing it. If you tell people you collect cuddly toys, it can feel as if you're going to be judged because it's like a children's hobby. But then you go on TikTok and see all these people the same age as you, women and men, and it encourages you not to hold yourself back. This is kind of the whole problem with the internet, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, I think I just read something about the difference in the way fandom used to work, where, you know, in I guess you could just say in the 90s, there would be a guy who's like really into Star Wars and his whole bedroom is just covered in Star Wars everything.
Mm-hmm.
And before he lets you see it, he's like, just know, like, I'm not crazy. I really like Star Wars. Just don't judge me. But now that guy, instead of looking at all of his Star Wars merch and liking it and enjoying it privately, he takes his phone and he shows everyone on TikTok, here's my Star Wars merch collection, guys.
There's money to
and
be made.
makes it into a voyeuristic thing rather than a... You know, he's like...
Well, girls do that with makeup tutorials.
There's a difference between looking at the Star Wars poster on your wall and gesturing for other people to look at it all over the world.
Well, back then, I think part of it is that, like, you probably felt a little bit more alone in your crazy love of that hobby. Now, the internet allows you to easily connect with people who feel the same way.
But then it becomes something other than the hobby in and of itself.
Yes,
at that point.
Is true.
It becomes about a community based around something that doesn't unite you on anything other than your consumer habits. They also mentioned the Squishmallow craze, and I just wanted to show this harrowing image of Lady Gaga, a 38-year-old woman in bed with her Squishmallows. Her caption reads, "I love my friends, my real friends, that I come home to a pile of rainbows because they want me to smile and celebrate me. I love you, friends, all your colors and your uniqueness, your kindness, your curiosity, and endless love."
All of it is just its own unique form of consumerism for all parties involved. Like, look at the Stanley Cup trend, which is literally like, it's a cup. You could get one just like it for half the price, but you pay exorbitant fees to own whatever the current thing is. That's how I feel about the name brand stuffed animals and stuff like that.
Well, at the very least, this does perform, the Stanley Cup performs a function for me.
It does. It
keeps my drink cold, and it's very useful.
Yeah.
I also don't have one of the Stanley Cups that has the big handle on it. This one does not have a handle.
She was telling me about how proud she was that she didn't have the handle on her cup.
Because the handle gives it a sippy cup vibe. An adult sippy cup vibe.
Your adult sippy cup, yeah.
And this is a little bit more dignified, I think.
Yep.
At least I'll tell myself that.
Look, I'm going to say allow all to love their hobbies. Just do, have some understanding of where the line is and where it becomes socially unacceptable.
There is obviously a line. I'll get to that in a second. Jose Quintana said the 2020 movie I Care a Lot examines the guardianship industry and the possible abuses. Stars Rosamund Pike, Happy Friday, Brett and Empress. As far as the plushies, this isn't new. Beanie Babies, anyone? Long live PCC. Definitely not a brand new trend.
Just think, if you're my age, you probably had a parent who got into some type of Texas death match with somebody over at Tickle Me Elmo for their kid when they were young.
Was that like a really competitive product?
It wasn't for my age. It was for people younger than me, but it was a thing. What was the other one?
Super creepy,
Furbies?
too. Furbies, the list just goes on and on, for sure.
I love the skits on Instagram. It's like your parents how many parents have like accidentally killed someone at a Black Friday event trying to get you a TV for half price.
But look, I'm just saying there is definitely a line. You have to arbitrarily draw a line somewhere because the line is arbitrary. The fact that it needs to exist is not arbitrary. And it comes long before you end up being one of those people who purchases lifelike, detailed, weighted baby dolls and creating a nursery for it and changing its diaper.
Yeah.
That is something that we've talked about before. OGs who watch the show every day will know about that. There are people who collect lifelike baby dolls that are weighted and painted to feel and look like actual human babies.
That was a creepy one.
They buy clothing for it. They go out in public with it. If that's your hobby, That shouldn't be your hobby. I'm just going to say it shouldn't, like, even if that makes you happy, you shouldn't do it because the wrong thing is making you happy. You're using the wrong thing to fill a void, and that's toxic. That is actually a massive red flag.
All right, let us go. Let's move on. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day? How bad is the cringe today?
It's not terrible.
Not terrible?
I'll be
Okay.
honest.
All right, we'll do.
It's more funny to me.
We'll do cringe first then. All right,
Okay.
here we go. All right.
It's Drake related.
Hey girlies, it's me, everyone's favorite rapper, Aubrey Graham, aka Drake. And boy howdy, do I have a song that's 100% awesome sauce. And I'd like for y'all to hear it. But first, we have to warm up. Are you ready? Activate rap mode. Yeah, let's go. My ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling. I want you to play with my ding-a-ling. Ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling. I want you to play with my ding-a-ling.
It says Drake if you were actually good. Have you ever? There's actually a whole cottage industry of Drake AI ones. There's one where
Like
he's a
this?
Yeah, there's one where he's a baby and he goes, Kendrick. He's like, Kendrick, stop making fun of me. I don't like it.
It's like Drake face swapped onto a baby.
Yeah, no, that's literally what it is. It's amazing. So, all right, let's do cute of the day. Remember, guys, if you would like to submit your pets for cute of the day, hashtag PCC Pets on X. Tag me in there at Brett Dasovic. I love this one. This is from Mel G. It says, my tailless little hobbit, Leo Baggins.
He's actually tailless?
Either way,
Wow.
he's sitting upright.
Yeah, he's
Sick of your shit.
trying to be human.
All right.
I like it.
Remember to share those, guys. We want to get all your pets featured on here. All right.
We have a highly anticipated update in the ongoing legal and PR battle between former It Ends With Us co-stars Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Now, the headlines might have fooled you before, but this is a new lawsuit. Justin Baldoni is suing Blake Lively for $400 million in damages, mostly for defamation, but there is a whole list of other offenses here. The defendants are Blake Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, her publicist Leslie Sloan, as well as the publicist's firm Vision PR. And they are all going to be sued on claims of the following: civil extortion, defamation, false light invasion of privacy, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, intentional interference with contractual relations, intentional interference with prospective economic advantage, and negligent interference with prospective economic advantage. We are not legal scholars on this show, obviously, so we're not going to be able to decode what all of that jargon means. The main point is Blake Lively is about to get massively humbled, and a lot of people are comparing her to Amber Heard.
Yep.
They are saying that Blake Lively is Amber Heard 2.0. That could turn really ugly, especially considering that they were never in a relationship.
Amber Heard, changed her name and moved out of the country.
I mean, at least Blake Lively never shat in anyone's bed.
She's got that going. I mean,
she's got that going.
At least as
for
far
her.
as we know.
As far as we know, Blake Lively is not shat in anyone's bed.
Ryan's like, I could tell you some stories.
Right. $400 million is probably close to their collective net worth as a couple.
There's a 20 there from Dr. Larcena.
Apropos of comfort purchases, so basically you're saying moderation and common sense are needed. Problem is that common sense has become rare. On the subject of what woke right means, I'd love to hear Phil's take. I'm sure that Phil has
The beauty of my
a
job
take.
is I don't have to care. I can scroll right past all those tweets and be like, wah, wah, wah.
And we just talk about drama.
Yep.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to find out what the internet says Ryan Reynolds' net worth is.
It's over $1 billion,
Because he's going to be bankrolling this whole thing, right? He has an estimated net worth of $350 million. Now let's see about Blake Lively. It's got to be less than that, significantly.
Wait, how much is his net worth?
350 is the estimate.
I thought he was a billionaire.
looks like, according to the internet, he's not. But these things are
Okay.
never exactly accurate. Blake Lively's net worth is estimated at around $30 million.
Okay.
They do have
Just
a lot
a
of
measly
powerful
30 million?
friends, though. But I'm just going to read a few excerpts from this lawsuit. I almost feel like I should become a lawyer because they get to be so petty. The way that this is worded is so dramatized. They say, at bottom, this is not a case about celebrities sniping at each other in the press. This is a case about two of the most powerful stars in the world deploying their enormous power to steal an entire film right out of the hands of its director and production studio. He's saying they're hijacking his film.
Yep.
When plaintiffs have their day in court, the jury will recognize that even the most powerful celebrity cannot bend the truth to her will. I don't even think they're honestly flattering Blake Lively to call her this like mega powerful like A-lister. She is definitively C-list. Ryan Reynolds is the more famous and powerful of the two of them.
Ryan Reynolds is an A-lister. She's a C-lister, which makes her a solid B+ lister.
She gets to be B+ just because of him?
Sure.
She's also friends with Taylor Swift. That will come up in a few minutes. But I also want to read more from the beginning of this lawsuit. It literally is written like a novel. It's written like the beginning of a novel, a Colleen Hoover book. The following is not a story plaintiffs ever wished to tell. Unfortunately, defendant Blake Lively has unequivocally left them with no choice, not only to set the record straight in response to her accusations, but also to put the spotlight on the parts of Hollywood that they have dedicated their careers to being the antithesis of. People cannot... Their grammar is just atrocious here. That task was always going to be an uphill battle. They never imagined they would encounter it to this degree. Had Blake Lively chosen to merely ride out the self-inflicted press catastrophe she faced in August 2024, the public would have likely moved on and never known the truth about her. They would have never known that she deliberately and systematically robbed Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios of their movie. No one except the parties involved would have known that she used threats and extortion to relegate the colleagues she once highly praised to a basement to sit out their own premiere while she enjoyed the spotlight of a premiere and after party that was ultimately co-financed by both Wayfarer Studios and Sony.
Here's the photos.
We have the photo evidence of Justin Baldoni and his so-called dream team in the basement. In the basement at the premiere of his own movie. It's right there.
It is. It's a
Thank you.
very moving image. I mean, there actually is something visually striking about seeing the actual photo evidence of somebody who spent his own money to make this movie being relegated to the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what these people expect to happen. Like, there's a level of delusion that only a real-life supervillain could have. Mm-hmm. There's a level of hubris that only someone that arrogant or that actually vicious, villainous could have. Mm-hmm. To think that the photo and text evidence is not going to come out, they're very confident about this. And Justin Baldoni's lawyer himself is making public comments saying, let's publish everything. Mm-hmm. Let's put it all out there for the public to make their own conclusion, because it will show, unlike the doctored screenshots that were included in the New York Times piece, mm-hmm. the New York Times, which is still getting sued by Justin Baldoni, by the way, it will show that Blake Lively's accusations against him were unfounded. Yeah. So,
and now she's fired back and saying that this lawsuit is proof that you're an abuser.
Blake Lively's legal team gave a response in The Hollywood Reporter. They say, "This is an age-old story. A woman speaks up with concrete evidence of sexual harassment and retaliation, and the abuser attempts to turn the tables on the victim. This is what experts call DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender."
It's like in Admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations.
That's a really pathetic response there.
From everything that I've read from Colonel Kurtz and everyone else, she was the one who had problems with intimacy coordinators and such things. I don't think anybody comes out of this looking good.
Not even Justin Baldoni?
I don't know. I mean,
because so far
if he wins the
everyone
lawsuit,
seems to
he
be
can-
on his side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, think about how big of a turnaround that is, considering this came out just before we went off for Christmas break, a couple weeks before Christmas. So a lot has happened.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to explain to people, just for the sake of it, how Taylor Swift was involved? Because this was, first of all, this is only funny because you can see the media entities using it as a way to grab clicks.
Right. Well, everyone knows that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are both friends with Taylor Swift and deeply familiar with her tactics in the public eye, the way that she tries to throw different people in an unflattering light. Her feuds with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, for instance, many other examples. Blake Lively used Taylor Swift's fame to threaten Justin Baldoni with career ruin.
I got the text here.
Yeah. And in the most cringy way possible. That's the only way I can describe it.
She's Khaleesi.
Blake Lively used her friend Taylor Swift's fame to threaten Justin Baldoni with complete career ruin. Here was her text message in a screenshot from the lawsuit. Here is a text from Blake to Justin. If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi. And like her, I happen to have a few dragons. For better or worse, but usually for better. Because my dragons also protect those I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. Smiley face emoji. You will too. I can promise you.
She will she's not beating those mean girl accusations, that is for sure. If you're
like,
wondering,
you're a mean girl and you're cringy.
Yeah.
You're a mean girl and you're this cringy. Like, that's quite the self-own.
So basically what happened is like she she summoned Justin to her penthouse to read some rewrites she did to the script, and then she had like Taylor Swift like look in and be like, hey, I really liked your version of it. And he basically said to her, like, look, I would have liked it anyways, even if you didn't like assault me with Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift telling me how great your version of it was.
Blake Lively's dragons, her monsters, are Taylor Swift and her husband Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying those people aren't powerful, and I bet Justin Baldoni probably thought they did have the power to ruin him.
I like the
until
idea.
he turned the tables.
I mean,
on
the
him.
best part of that is she's also shaming him for not seeing Game of Thrones.
Right? Like, what is that?
On top of that, she's like, what, you're not hip?
Aren't you busy? How do you have all this time on your hands?
He's like, I work for a living. You don't have to do shit. Like, just because you can sit at home and watch Game of Thrones every night. And this was like, what, 2019? So he's like, nobody watched that last season anyways.
Brian Friedman gave a statement yesterday saying this lawsuit is action based on an overwhelming amount of untampered evidence detailing Blake Lively and her team's duplicitous attempt to destroy Justin Baldoni, his team, their respective companies, by disseminating grossly edited, unsubstantiated, new and doctored information to the media. It's clear, based on our own all-out willingness to provide all complete text messages, emails, video footage, and other documentary evidence that was shared between the parties in real time, that this is a battle she will not win and will certainly regret. Blake Lively was either severely misled by her team or intentionally and knowingly misrepresented the truth. She will never again be allowed to continue to exploit actual victims of real harassment solely for her own personal reputation gain at the expense of those without power. Let's not forget, Blake and her team attempted to bulldoze reputations and livelihoods for heinously selfish reasons through their own dangerous manipulation of the media before even taking any actual legal action. We know the truth, and now the public does too. Justin and his team have nothing to hide. Documents do not lie. So when he's referring to her trying to bulldoze Justin Baldoni's career before taking legal action, he means that Blake filed a civil complaint which was not available to the public viewing until she leaked it to the New York Times.
Yep.
And not only that, but Justin Baldoni's publicist at the time, Stephanie Jones, had a hand in making that happen. Out of a spirit of revenge, Justin Baldoni's own publicist at the time actually turned over the screenshots of these explosive text messages, which were then abridged to deceive people in the New York Times piece to make Blake Lively look like a victim. That was all before Blake Lively actually went the full length of filing a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. And I'm actually surprised because I thought that he was going to keep it to just a lawsuit against the New York Times. But it was inevitable that this had to happen.
I don't think it can be understated. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my own personal thought. But like, this is a very powerful image. Like, these are the people that you worked really hard with on to create something. Making a movie is an extremely lengthy and arduous process. It's not easy to get something. Like, they'll talk a lot of times about just, it's a miracle that any movie gets done at all. It takes hundreds of people. It's extremely expensive. And to see a bunch of people who were involved in the production of this film just relegated to a basement, but still smiling, is actually quite a powerful image if you're read up on the story.
This photo actually corroborates exactly what Justin Baldoni was saying in the voice note that was featured on Megyn Kelly's show.
Yeah.
He said, you know, we were locked in this basement because Blake wanted me as far away from her as possible.
And he still
I was
keeps
there with all my friends and my family.
Keeping a smile on his face
we're
and
laughing.
making the best of it. Like, it makes him an unbelievably sympathetic character.
Yeah, like, we're laughing at the absurdity of it all. This could become a movie in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I bet that Colleen Hoover, the author of the
write
book It Ends With Us, whom sold the rights for this movie, feels like a clown right now.
I'm just saying, if we're talking about he wants to go before a judge and jury, like, that type of image can sway a lot of people.
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
All right.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, Brett and Mary. So Roseanne is rapping with Tom MacDonald now. I hope her rapping is better than her singing of the national anthem." When did she sing the national anthem?
How long ago was that?
I've never heard her singing. But yeah, you've been showing me these images as they come out. I'm not really keeping up, but she got cornrows, right?
Yes, I don't know if they were real. Am I doing a wig?
Match.
A wig? I don't know. Or they were braids, not cornrows.
Oh, okay.
Braids.
Is she gonna get face tattoos like Tom MacDonald?
Yeah, maybe.
Go the full commit to the bit. DC&C said, "Is woke the new PC politically correct?" Do you think that they mean the same thing?
No, but again, I loathe to try and define the term because people have argued with me on it here, but, you know, ask 10 people, get 10 different definitions as to what that means. Which is why I almost never use it as a description for anything.
Woke is an umbrella term, and under that umbrella term somewhere is political correctness, but political correctness is an outdated term in and of itself. Hesha said, "People are crazy."
Yes.
They are. I can't argue with you. Shane H. Wilder said, "So plushies are turning into Linus's blanket." You know that.
Yeah.
Did you watch Charlie Brown growing up?
I've seen I saw the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving for the first time ever. I'd seen Charlie Brown Christmas. I saw Charlie Brown Thanksgiving for the first time ever this year.
You know, Charlie Brown is kind of a curmudgeon. Yeah. I know that's the whole point, but
he's treated like, they treat him like shit.
They kind of do.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, you know, it's kind of rude.
He's not particularly nice either. Yeah. So.
I mean, that's probably more indicative of how personalities just were back then. A lot less faking it.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after.
Trump made the historic decision to appoint special ambassadors to what he calls troubled Hollywood. Hollywood hasn't just been in financial trouble in recent years. They've also been in a lot of ideological trouble. And in fact, those two issues are compounding on each other. He found 3 heroes that could possibly save the day. Or they could just spy for him. They could just be his Hollywood spies and report back, give him intel on what all the entertainers are saying behind the scenes that they're too afraid to say out in the public. For instance, that they support him and are too scared to talk about it.
Yep.
But here was Donald Trump's post on Truth Social just yesterday. He said, "It's my honor to announce Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone to be special ambassadors to a great but very troubled place, Hollywood, California. They will serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which has lost much business over the last 4 years, to foreign countries back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. These 3 talented people will be my eyes and ears, and I will get done what they suggest. It will again be, like the United States of America itself, the golden age of Hollywood."
More movies about boxers, more movies about Jesus.
So, I mean, these are the most likely suspects, of course. Jon Voight has been very vocal about his support for Trump. Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone endorsed him very loudly in this past election.
Stallone was one of those ones that I think was a later realization for people. There was plenty of people, and to his credit, he waited till season 2 of Tulsa King was winding down. I don't blame him one bit, but I don't think it really hurt anything anyways.
Well, it's weird, right?
The tides are turning.
Aren't the people watching that show likely
yes,
neutral or right-leaning?
Well, I mean, the point isn't for those people. The point is for the people who might check it out, who are on Twitter. That's who they're worried about.
Or maybe he's worried about the people who are producing the show and platforming it.
Well, no, because I mean, Taylor Sheridan is a dude who seems like he'll work with just about anyone as long as they're good at their job.
He directs it.
He's the one who created the show.
He finances it,
and he wrote the show. So
it's just a one.
I mean, I'm sure there's other writers on it. I don't have the number or the script or anything.
There are a lot of people who can pull strings. That's all I'm saying.
And Taylor Sheridan is a dude who's got a lot of, when it comes to producers in Hollywood, he's up there with the upper echelon now as far as powerful people in the industry. He's got his own if you go on the Paramount Plus app, there's the Taylor Sheridan collection with all of the shows that he is putting out and running.
I've heard terrible things about was this his show, 1883?
I loved 1883.
I've heard terrible things about it.
I loved 1883. I never got to 1923, though.
Not that I ever gave it a chance myself. I'm just saying a lot of people said that it was very politicized and distasteful. Landman,
very good. Mayor of Kingstown, I'm a season behind on that one, but still very, very good. So, again, it all depends on your taste. But Sylvester Stallone, the point being that Sylvester Stallone was a latecomer to that kind of
You're
controversy.
Saying it's likely that he was waiting until it was a little more convenient.
I mean, I can't say. It seemed like it came out after the election was already over. But again, I could have just not paying close enough attention. It's not like I keep an alert on my thing as to what Sylvester Stallone does.
No, he's one
of the few celebrities that I follow on Instagram.
It's worth speculating about it because this is a real issue. People wait until it is convenient.
He's also got
to speak about certain topics or support certain people, and celebrities.
But he's always been open about
exception when it comes to supporting Trump.
He has always been open about his friendship with Trump because their friendship goes back to Rocky IV or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not even necessarily saying that that's true of him, but it's been true of a lot of people. Yeah. And a lot of people, I'm sure, in Hollywood are still silent Trump supporters, and especially silently voted for him this past election and will continue to remain silent until it is absolutely, unequivocally uncontroversial.
But here's the
thing, speak on it.
Then don't speak on it at all, right?
That's fine.
My point is why have to have the opinion at all? It is more disingenuous if you had the opinion and you've just been waiting to say it until it's okay. But if you have the opinion but you feel no inclination to share it because you're like, why does anybody give a crap what I think about this stuff anyways? I don't think of that as a problem at all.
It depends on the reasoning for your silence. If you think your opinion doesn't need to be shared and doesn't offer value, that's one thing. But if you feel that something is important to speak out about and you refrain from doing so because you have something to lose, that is not the virtuous decision. And one person who is actually, mentioned here, Mel Gibson, did the opposite of that when he took a huge hit to his career, as did Jim Caviezel for making Passion of the Christ.
Yes. I guess maybe my perspective here is with all three of these actors is, do you focus on the years prior where they could have spoken up sooner, or do you focus on what can be accomplished in the next 4 years, whatever those goals may be, right? Because if the idea here is that you have to find, that's just a form of purity testing to me. You have to find somebody who spoke up at exactly the right time, said exactly the right thing. That's the person you've deemed capable of reaching other people. Well, no. The point here is that these people have spoken out. Maybe they could have spoken out sooner. Maybe they couldn't have. Do they have the clout or the reach to actually make inroads? Now, if we're talking about getting things made and turning things around, you can't just talk about an actor who said the right things 8 years ago and maybe lost work. It's not about that. It's about how much power do they have in the industry. One of the things I've talked about is they hate Mel Gibson in Hollywood. But every time he makes a movie, a lot of these sites end up having articles that come out that are neutral or positive about it because he is a powerful producer in the industry. He can afford to have the publicists getting people to say the right things about his projects. So it's not just about when they said it, it's about how much power do they have to make actual change going forward. Mm-hmm. In that case, like I don't know what John Voight is like as a producer. Like I just off the top of my head.
But they list off some of their more recent work here.
James Woods would have been a great name to add to this, I think.
They say Mel Gibson returned to directing the Oscar-winning film Hacksaw Ridge in 2016, has an upcoming action movie, Flight Risk, starring Mark Wahlberg.
I'm very excited to watch that.
Actually out in a week.
Yep.
And Sylvester Stallone recently starred in Tulsa King on Paramount Plus.
He's also, his family has
produced Jason Statham's action movie Working Man.
That's coming out soon too. That's
John
the Chuck
Voight
Dixon story.
Recently appeared in Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, and the biopic on Ronald Reagan starring Dennis Quaid as Reagan. What his character's name was though.
There's a lot there. I think James Woods would have been a great name to add to this.
James Woods,
yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, he was he's been outspoken for a long period of time. He was one of the producers on Oppenheimer, and they actually asked him to not. Like, they didn't want to acknowledge his producer role in that because he is so outspoken about politics.
Yeah, I recall the headlines coming out about that.
Yeah.
But maybe that just, I mean, Trump's kind of picking out his favorites here.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what he always does, right?
I wish Mark Wahlberg were on the list.
That would have been a good idea. He's the bad guy. And it's so funny because Carry On came out in December with Jason Bateman as the bad guy. And now we're going to have Flight Risk with, and it's a meme because everybody knows the Mark Wahlberg meme about, if I'd been on the plane during during 9/11, things could have stopped the terrorists.
I'm just built different.
He's just built different. So look,
another celebrity ally of Trump's recently spoke out against Michelle Obama dissing the inauguration, which is happening on Monday. This just made me laugh, and I want to share it.
So, is this your first inauguration?
No. I always hate the 5-second delay when they don't you hate it?
How have we not fixed this issue by now? It's 2025.
I was actually listening to your show a little bit before I got in the truck here, and I heard Michelle Obama's not attending. I would kindly remind her that years back, when Obama was first elected, I did not vote for him, but they asked me to play the inauguration, and I played.
What?
And I went. Had a good.
I have no recollection of this.
I was just looking into who performed at the
Is this true?
Obama inauguration the other day. I did not see him on the list.
The world has changed a whole ton.
Yeah. I went for out of respect to the presidency, so I would kindly remind Miss Michelle about that.
I forgot about that, and that's cool because it's really not about the politics. It's about
look, Tim and Kid Rock just not dress code efficient in their Jesse Waters appearances.
Office, and you got to respect it. Why isn't Michelle attending? All the other first ladies are.
Fix this problem.
I don't know. She seems a little angry. She might be I don't know.
He was going to make a very specific joke there that I think he held himself back on.
If you can't say something nice,
Yeah,
let me hear it.
That's smart for husbands and people on live television.
Okay.
Thank you, Kid Rock. Very cool.
Informative as always.
They also got a statement from Mel Gibson reacting to his newfound title as an envoy. He said that it was just as much of a surprise to him. They found out at the same time that Trump's social media followers. I got the tweet at the same time as all of you. Nevertheless, I heed the call. My duty as a citizen is to give any help and insight I can. Any chance the position comes with an ambassador's residence. Get it? Because he just lost his house.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to Costa Rica, I thought.
Oh, that was just something that he didn't even know at the time when he mentioned that his house had actually burned down. He thought that was live on the interview.
Oh, he didn't even know yet.
He said, my house might be burned down. It did. He did end up it did burn down. He did go and speak with the firefighters locally, talked about it. He said, look, it's just stuff.
I saw some people saying that David Lynch's death had something to do with the wildfires, and I think that's got to be fake.
Conspiracy.
That's got to be fake news.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah, it's look. This could be great. I don't know.
Well, you're choosing envoys to Hollywood that are already hated by Hollywood.
You would have to find somebody. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, Taylor Sheridan would have been a great envoy to Hollywood if
Who else?
he could have done
Making
something
real
like that.
inroads. Who else?
Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
Chris Nolan. I mean, I don't think you're going to get him to commit to anything.
I mean, as
like
long
that.
as we're just calling people out against their will.
Yeah. Mick G. Everyone's going to hate me for saying that.
Who else?
It's a very good question. The Obamas.
Some of them are just so insane that you already know they're not in the running.
Yeah.
But who is the most strong silent type, least annoying? You can probably guess that they would be open to the idea of an olive branch.
we don't really live in an age anymore of the respect held for a higher office. Therefore, you will do. It's kind of like what he was talking about here. It's like you went because the president invited you. Therefore, it was a great honor. We don't live in that time anymore.
You know what? Timothy Chalamet. That's
no.
He should choose Timothy Chalamet to be his special ambassador to Hollywood.
Somebody says, Mighty Rax says Rob Schneider. I mean, I think he'd have to be a bigger name than, as great as Rob Schneider is, it would have to be somebody, like I said, with a great producing power at a high level in Hollywood. So, well, look, it's funny because Hollywood could use a little bit of help now, given the fact that, the fires are burning down stuff all around them. And Disney had a good year in 2024, but that does not necessarily negate all of the bad years prior. It's going to be a bumpy road going forward because, look, all these tech companies seem to be swinging the other direction. They're axing their DEI departments. They're taking the tampons out of the men's bathrooms. But even if the Hollywood follows suit and they try to make these changes, the nature in which movies are made, which is a very lengthy process, means that you're going to get a couple years more garbage before anything actually changes.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to make any difference?
No.
Having a second Trump era non-consecutively, they got their rage out of their system the first time around.
So actually, I like this idea. Like if I'm like analytically, I like the idea that they threw a hissy fit the first time. So the art didn't really come out all that evocative. This time around, they're they've developed a scab over the place where all the anger was.
Yeah.
And maybe now they can make their art that's critical, but do so in a way that's less emotionally childlike and more of an adult. Like great art can come from anger. But a lot of the times it gets lost when you're so angry, you don't know how to write it into something that's coherent and enjoyable for everyone. You could make a lot of statements still. You think I have a problem with somebody making a statement about problems in the government? No, not at all. It's just that it has to be done in a way that reaches more than just one group of people. Maybe this time around, they're so numb to it, they actually make some good art. Do I think that's what's going to happen? No.
But
I'm open to the idea
to see them try.
Yep.
At least.
All right, let's go super chats.
The Rumbling said, Mary, don't you slander my mead mug with your handleless sippy cup. Mead mug? You have like some kind of gigantic beer stein? Well, that's more acceptable, I think, than the Stanley. Urashima Otaru said, Chuck Berry's My Dingling is a real #1 hit song. I believe you. Urashima, Dr. Larcena. Apropos of comfort purchases. Oh, this was at 20.
Yeah.
Kevin
Corbett?
Sorry if I said that wrong. Joining late, but Rowdy Energy is no longer on the shelves and was owned by NASCAR champion Kyle Busch.
This better not be one of those things where it's like, did you drink Rowdy Energy drinks between the years of 2002 and 2003? You may be entitled to compensation.
What happened to it?
I don't know. What happened to it?
I guess people just weren't buying them.
People didn't buy it. Like it's kind of like, isn't it weird? Have you ever gone to like a Walmart and seen Black Rifle Coffee Company there?
Yeah.
That's
plenty of times.
I know, it's weird.
It must be pretty easy to get some space on the shelves there.
But I'm just saying that's a sign that
I
you've
was
made
never
it.
into it though. Yeah. I've tried the Black Rifle stuff, the canned stuff, and it's like, I don't know, it's like a Snickers bar that got melted down and that doesn't even taste like coffee at that point. Tacti Platty said, you two on IRL tonight, PCC themed super chats. If you do, I believe there will be multiple special guests.
Yes,
on.
you should do PCC themed super chats now.
Yeah,
not on IRL.
Yeah, don't save that.
The best
for
way
later.
to help us keep the show on the air is to do so now, not on IRL. See, if it goes to IRL, look, the meaning is great, but in the record books,
yeah,
shows up for IRL, not for us.
But we do appreciate your recognition.
We do. Thank you.
Getting a shout out once in a while. Shane H. Wilder said, Baldoni's lawyer writes like a paperback novelist. Is that an insult or a compliment to him? What does it mean? I don't get it.
I'm with Matt in the chat. He says, sounds good, though. I think he was referring to the Snickers bar. I was like, that sounds kind of good.
Not when you want coffee. When I want coffee, I want it to be coffee, not a milkshake or like a weird canned milkshake that tastes like chemicals.
Yeah. Let's do one more.
Not into it. They have the most like radioactive canned coffee bullshit at the gas station that's like flavored like Reese's and like
it's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
It's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch churro Reese's.
You think that's bad? Go to the dollar store.
Disgusting. Like that's not coffee. There's no way there's a trace of coffee in that.
I look at it and I'm just like, that looks delicious. This is why I'm gonna die young. I don't get it.
That's what they mean when they say you get one-shotted.
Yep.
That's that. Not that John Stewart said, I spoke too soon. After barely a year, the Taco John near me has shut down before I could try anything from them. Probably not a good idea to open across the street from Taco Bell. I can't believe they had the gall to do that.
I know that there's logic in the marketing world that explains why. Ever notice, like, I don't know what the pharmacies are in your area, but if you see a Walgreens, a CVS always opens up across the street.
Yeah.
Like there's some type
of
of school of thought as to why they do that. Certainly where I grew up.
But everyone prefers Walgreens, right? Am I wrong?
I have my own stories here, but it would be
what?
It depended on
you have stories?
It depended on the medication.
Stories?
I have stories. It would have depended on the medication itself.
Stories that you're not willing to share.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
I will be asking you off air.
It's nothing so grandiose. But guys, we're about halfway to a second crisis party. Just saying.
Just thought we'd mention it.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back. Let's dunk on celebrities who think they're normal people.
There are a lot of things that I despise about celebrities, but most of all is when they try and fail to be relatable, wholesome 100 chunguses. They try to be quirky. They try to say, hey, normal people, I'm just like you. The latest example of this that you pointed out to me, Brett, was Timothée Chalamet showing up to the premiere of his own movie, A Complete Unknown, on a Lime bike. One of these rent-a-bike things that you get off the street. He said he was like, He was in traffic. He was late for his premiere, his own movie premiere. So he had to jump out of the car and go get a Lime bike and rent it with the app on your phone and then race over to the premiere and go on the red carpet on his bike.
The cool version of this is he actually jacks someone for their bike and he steals it.
That would have actually been cool. Not relatable, but at least
and
cool.
then returns it afterwards. What he does is he commandeers it like a cop in a movie when they're chasing someone and they're like, I need your car.
Duty calls. Well, let's take a look at this video of him showing up to the premiere. The worst part of all, as you'll see, is he doesn't even know how to put the kickstop in.
No, the worst part of all is that it's a movie where he plays Bob Dylan and everybody alive knows that Bob Dylan sucks.
That is actually the worst part. But here he is from the aerial view.
It's so relatable.
Everyone is loving it, snapping photos. He's so quirked up. He's so quirky.
Like, okay, the only way this is believable if he doesn't do it right in front of the sign.
Right.
Like right in front of the backdrop of the sign.
Well, look at him try to struggle with the kickstop here. Or kickstand, rather. They have to get a guy from the staff to go.
No, the guy never touched it. No hand.
Not that you saw.
No, he didn't touch it.
And then he takes out his phone.
Stands in exactly the right place next to the letters, but not in front of them.
And you're going to try to tell me that that's not a planned PR stunt.
No, that 100%
to get people to talk about the premiere. Like,
just the fact of how many articles were written about it.
Right. It was everywhere. Yep. They were calling him America's sweetheart. Like, they actually... This headline was everywhere, and we're supposed to believe that he just, by random chance, was running late to the premiere and just had to do this. It was totally unexpected, totally organic. We have a 20 from Mari Pari. Try not to go to Walgreens or CVS because they sell the abortion pill. I like Rite Aid, but I think they're owned by Walgreens. I think they might be too, yeah.
That's like another place where you would see that is if you're looking for an engagement ring. If you want to buy one that's ethically sourced, pretty much
At Rite Aid?
No, I'm saying if you were going to go to like a Jared or like they're all owned by the same company.
Okay.
They're all
I thought you were saying
by,
they sell engagement
that would be amazing.
rings at Rite Aid.
No. My point is that pretty much all of those diamond dealers are owned by the same company.
Mm-hmm. Well, the truth came out later on that Timothée Chalamet received a €65 fine for parking his Lime bike in a no parking zone. This character, this absolute character. Timothée Chalamet revealed he took the bike because there was a traffic jam that would have made him late for his own premiere. He said, I got a €65 fine, and actually it was horrible because it was actually kind of an advert for them. You don't say. It was inorganic and completely made for financial benefit. I don't know. It's just, I feel like I'm being played for a fool.
You are
when
we're not because we don't fall for it, but that's what they're trying to do.
When these stunts get pulled, I just feel like I'm being insulted. My intelligence is being insulted.
That is exactly what's happening.
And not only that, I actually came across a new thread of celebrities acting like average Joes. So wholesome. The first example they list here, and you're going to hate me for saying this because everyone loves Keanu Reeves. He ran into a random couple in a hotel lobby. They invited him to their wedding. Then he put on a suit and joined.
We've got a photo here.
There is the photo of him with this newlywed couple.
Again, purely for hypocrisy's sake and my enjoyment of Keanu Reeves as an actor, he gets a pass. Timothée Chalamet doesn't because he's playing Bob Dylan. Keanu Reeves gets a pass because he's John Wick. He's Johnny Utah. He's so many characters.
Do we think that this was totally unplanned, totally organic.
I mean, I buy that it's unplanned. It doesn't make it less cringy.
Okay. But it's not cringy because it's Keanu. But if it had been someone else, if it had been Hugh Jackman, perhaps, then you would say it's cringe.
Okay, no. So here's the thing. I don't hate this stuff as much as you do. I hate, because at the very least, logically, I can understand where the publicist's point is, even if it's all fake. I kind of put it on the person to know that it's fake. Like, sure. I hate quirky. I hate fake quirky. I hate the Bill Murray of it all. I don't hate Bill Murray. I like Bill Murray. I just hate the, oh my gosh. It was such a product of Reddit humor 2010.
Yeah.
To be that way.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. But the next example they provided was Hugh Jackman taking a selfie with a baby penguin.
Is that in?
It's in the thread.
Is this the right thread?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, what's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to never see a baby penguin ever?
I mean, I just don't understand why we need to see celebrities in this rarefied air. Like, oh, he's so wholesome. He's a small bean. A small bean.
I hope that's actually what they said to him.
I mean, really, like, why? They're just people, and we don't. This is like a form of celebrity worship in and of itself.
It is.
And then this is, my friend and I replaced Christmas with Brucemas, where we exchange Bruce Willis themed gifts every year. I win forever, and yes, it's real. This is Bruce Willis holding up an autograph for him.
I'm gonna call flag on the play for this one, because if Brucemas does exist, I think everyone can agree that that should only exist for Bruce Campbell.
Which one is worse, Brucemas or Hanksgiving?
Hanksgiving.
The Tom Hanks
Hanksgiving.
themed
There was more
play
people
on Friendsgiving.
There was more people.
John Cena paid for my uncle's groceries. This is not actually relatable at all.
Well, no, I guess
this is not
that's the opposite of
an
relatable.
average Joe.
This is just Good Samaritan behavior, which is a side effect of being famous and wanting good publicity. Again, not necessarily an inherently bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gets helped out and you get good publicity out of it. It's good for all parties involved. Just don't worship them and understand their motivations.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that he maybe wouldn't have wanted to publicize the fact that he did that for a random stranger, but because the guy wanted the picture, it ended up online.
Mm-hmm. Well, and John Cena is very famous for all of the time he's put into the Make-A-Wish Foundation being, I think he's granted, I think at one point, somebody can 110% fact check me on this, but I think it's like he is granted more wishes in the Make-A-Wish Foundation than like any other person.
I would have thought it would be...
charity is a big part of his brand.
That's so surprising. Like, why him?
Hustle, loyalty, respect.
Scroll down to the next Keanu Reeves one. This is just a guy who met Keanu Reeves at a traffic light. Like, look at him. He stops for red lights like the rest of us. Like, we're just grasping at straws here, right?
Yep.
This is, and I'm not even saying this myself. The thread is about celebrities acting like average Joes.
They're normal people.
Okay, this is just Keanu Reeves stopping at a stoplight.
Yep.
And that's like praiseworthy.
Yep.
I don't get it. I don't grasp.
Well, I mean,
the importance.
When I see that, that's not what I see. That's just, I was enamored. I met a celebrity. They're not trying to make any commentary about like what stopping at a red light means. It's just saying, holy crap, I just met this celebrity. Mm-hmm. And that's just normal celebrity interaction with somebody who likes them. I don't see anything wrong with that.
And look, I think that Keanu Reeves seems like a perfectly nice, humble guy, especially in the worlds that he works in. That's uncommon, and I get why people like him, but it gets to a certain point where the hero worship is
for him
too much.
For him,
too
it's
much.
connected to his work as well. It's the giving the Rolexes to all of the cast member, to all of the stuntmen on John Wick. It's taking a pay cut so that the special effects could be done at the level they needed to be for one of the Matrix movies. There's this great viral photo a couple years ago where they were bringing equipment upstairs in New York City to film one of the John Wicks, and Keanu Reeves like helping carry equipment cases up the stairs. And like, you know, that's a powerful thing to look at if you're somebody who looks at celebrities and is instantly a bit distrustful, right? You see something, and again, could 110% be publicity stake? If it is, he's done a better job than most in making it seem sincere. So I err on the side of believing that his is genuine. But again, would I be 100% surprised if he turned out to be a monster behind the scenes? No, but it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Well, the last example that I wanted to highlight here was Bill Murray and his tendency to get behind the bar and bartend for people.
This is the stuff
unsolicited.
I hate. This is the stuff I hate because I despise LOL so random.
This is Bill Murray LOL so random bartending. Back in 2010.
This is
day shift. I came in, riding my bike, sweaty as hell. I see Bill Murray standing at the bar. I was like, oh my God, Bill Murray at the bar. And introduced myself. It was really nice. They hung out for a little while, had a few shots. They started to get mobbed a little bit by the crowd. They took off. Apparently went to the Don't Mess with Texas Fest where RZA from Wu-Tang was playing. About an hour or 2 hours later, Bill Murray comes back in with RZA and GZA, I believe. So Bill Murray and Wu-Tang are hanging out in the bar, having more shots of tequila. All of a sudden, Bill Murray's standing next to me behind my bar. And the funny thing is, though, whenever somebody would order something, somebody would order, oh, give me a shot of whiskey. He would grab him tequila and just pour him a shot and hand
Like
it all.
he's not even doing it well.
I found myself bartending with a Ghostbuster. It was pretty flippin' sweet.
Yeah, sure. Bill Murray does it and he gets celebrated. Every time I just get behind the bar and start serving drinks, they escort me out the back and bring me to jail.
I found myself bartending with a Ghostbuster and it was pretty flippin' sweet. Now, it wasn't just that one time, though. He does this all the time. Like, over the years, you can see countless examples of Bill Murray doing this unsolicited, just hopping behind bars and bartending for people.
You know what it is?
Because nobody is gonna smack you if you're Bill Murray.
You know what it is? If he was at house parties, he would pick up the guitar in the corner every time and play Wonderwall.
Oh, he would be the guitar
He's
guy.
the Wonderwall player at a house party.
Who's the guy that plays with the cat, then?
Oh, he'd probably be that guy, too.
Would he be that guy?
He's that guy.
I feel like he's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm seeing like countless examples, one from just this past year, one from 2016. He just does whatever he wants because when you're a star, they let you do it.
I've heard that somewhere before.
I mean, it's a
I've heard that quote
It's such
before.
a famous quote for a reason, and it applies to so many situations.
It's like, what was the one we saw this year? It was like a Kardashian went to shop at Target. And we were like, and how many security guards did you have to go with so that you could pretend? Was it like
maybe Kylie?
Was it Kylie Jenner or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, like, why are you doing that?
Maybe Bill Murray's doing a social experiment to give everybody the wrong drink to see if they'll send it back.
This is something that we both appreciate about a star like Gwyneth Paltrow. You're shamelessly out of touch, and you just acknowledge that you're not like ordinary people, and that's okay. And you don't need to pretend otherwise because that would be patronizing and demeaning to everyone involved.
It's like when the actors are like, I loved comic books growing up. I'm like, did you? I mean, look, here's the thing. I don't care if you did. If you're a good actor and you're willing to learn about the character, I'm cool with that. You don't have to. You ain't got to lie, Craig.
They love
you ain't got
lying
to lie.
us. They love it.
I can't with the Bill Murray one. The rest of them, fine. The Timothy Chalamet one was too planned.
Just celebrities, stop desperately trying to
check this man's tax return. See if there's a payout from Lime.
Stop trying to Stop trying to be quirky. Stop trying to be relatable. Stop trying to seem down to earth. No one is buying it. Stop trying to be wholesome, like this wholesome Chungus character who can do no wrong. Stop trying to be a small bean.
Or if you're going to do it, be very, very good at it to the point where nobody
You better
can
be
question it.
convincing.
Yep.
You better be convincing or else I want none of it.
Yep.
Let's
All right.
finish up these super chats.
And let's get to a second crisis party, which we are almost at.
Pop Culture Junkie said, I really need to give a plug for a highly underrated film written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, Wind River, with Elizabeth Olsen and Jeremy Renner, kind of a cross between a procedural and a Western.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that I'm ashamed to say that I keep meaning to, and I just haven't.
Why not?
I just haven't gotten around to it. I'll have to do that.
It's pretty hard to get you to watch a movie, though, right?
Movies actually less so than TV shows. Like asking me to commit to like 3 seasons of something is a lot harder than asking me to watch a 2 or 2.5 hour movie.
Okay. Corey Anderson said, one would think the pro-Palestine Hollywood types would be pro-Mel Gibson. Also, I hope that limp-wristed dandy Justin wins his lawsuit. Go Redskins. Well, none of those points were connected to each other. But Mel Gibson is not entirely on the outs.
No. He's again. My point was in that segment was he has a great amount of power in the industry because he produces a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So he's still there.
Shane H. Wilder said the 5-second delay is annoying. It has to do with satellites bouncing the signal. It's even worse with TVUs that use cell towers for signal.
My goodness, Elon Musk has done all of this great work and he can't even fix the 5-second delay between satellites.
Can you imagine if we just did that on the show for a day? Like
From across the...
Like, ask me a question.
What was that, Mary?
Ask me a question.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then how about this? What do you think of the upcoming movie where Bill Murray plays a quirky bartender?
I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad you asked that, Brett.
A Mega Red fan said, I went to a Cage the Elephant show last year, and all the young male fans looked like Timothée Chalamet. Wow. I didn't know that they had young male fans. Thought they were kind of has-beens. Am I wrong? Cage the Elephant isn't a name I've heard in years. Maybe there are a lot of fans in the chat who are going to get mad at me for saying that.
Perhaps.
Tacti Platty said, you misunderstand. The PCC-themed super chat will be me trying to get Brett and Mary to people's Joker video Tim live on air and see the bemoaning of the crew.
Well, the problem is that if we did that, I'm not in charge of the buttons over there, so I can't just put it on. That would be funny, though.
Vera Drew does not deserve the free clout
from
that. That would be insane.
I feel like he'd play it on the after show.
On the after show, maybe. Yeah. We would have to send the link to Surge, though, so if you really want that, send it to Surge. Shane H. Wilder said, Walgreens over CVS. Walgreens has my coffee zins. I don't like the coffee zins anymore. I used to get them a lot, but I noticed that they kind of had this weird fake cherry smell. It smelled like cherry medicine, but they didn't taste like it. It was just off-putting. So now I only get cinnamon and the no flavor one. I like having the cinnamon with my coffee because then it tastes like I'm drinking black coffee, but it tastes like I'm having a cinnamon flavor coffee.
So you get the black coffee without having to necessarily just have the black coffee.
It's perfect.
It's been so long since I've been to a pharmacy anyways, other than like to go to just like a store for stuff there. Yeah. I had to buy a sling. Thank you.
Thank you.
But I don't miss that. I don't miss having to get prescriptions every month.
They have pretty great Snoopy merch if you're in the market for it.
Olivia would love that.
Yeah. Valentine's Day.
Snoopy merch is expensive.
Not the ones I saw.
That stuff is expensive.
There's like a Snoopy coffee table book where he's like wearing all these different outfits. It's like hundreds of dollars.
Whenever we go, we like to go to the mall. We like to walk the mall. Good for getting your steps in and killing time.
It's nice and warm during the winter.
We go to the Hallmark store, I can't get Olivia to leave because there's just so much Snoopy merch everywhere. And the last time we were there, we saw the final boss of Snoopy merch, which was like a life-size Snoopy. And I mean like human life-size, not dog life-size. Like it was almost as tall as her. And I was like, oh, if this had been last year and I had more money, I might have bought it for you.
But that's a whole life commitment. Like you're gonna need to keep life-size Snoopy somewhere in your home, like
you're not gonna hide it somewhere.
There's
otherwise,
nowhere
why
to hide
spend the
it.
money on it? Right?
Yeah, is it like a bean bag or something?
No,
it stands there.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah, it was enormous.
That's insane. Mari Pari said, oh no, I think I already read that one. Corey Anderson, Timothy Gay Spelling got paid by Lime/Uber. I didn't know Uber owned Lime.
Is that true?
I guess that makes sense. But he probably did have a brand deal with them, undisclosed.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yeah, Schrodinger's Effery said the actual reason he was fined was that investigators found the bike seat was removed and had been replaced with the Ass Blaster 5000.
Well, okay then.
So true. Pop Culture Junkie said Rite Aid closed hundreds of stores in October 2023 and then filed for bankruptcy. They became private last September.
Oh, okay. The only time I've ever been to a Rite Aid was when I was
Wait, so are they gone?
I don't know.
Okay.
The only time I've ever been to Rite Aid was there was a lot of Rite Aids in Philadelphia when I was spending time in Philadelphia.
I know they all have depressing fluorescent lighting in there.
Yeah.
But for some reason Rite Aid always had the most depressing fluorescent lighting.
There's a 20 there from Jose Quintana.
Ghost Empress fun fact number 1, most coffee is locked up in Puerto Rican supermarkets. 2, have you ever tried Puerto Rican coffee? 3, if you ever visited the island, there is a franchise called Taco Maker. Long live PCC. Okay, have I ever tried Puerto Rican coffee? I don't think so. I feel like I would remember if I did. And Taco Maker, is that like a fast food restaurant or
I don't know.
What's the deal?
Let's get to a third crisis party. How about that, guys? How about that?
How about
that?
that?
I'm saying that because my stream is just lagging and it keeps it keeps almost freezing, which gives me severe anxiety.
Why?
Well, you know, like to the point where it's not doing the reload thing, where it's actually freezing, and I had to check my phone to make sure the stream is still running.
No, the stream is fine. Yeah. And just let us know in the chat if the stream malfunctions, but otherwise I think we're gonna be fine. It's just our faulty internet here. Mari Pari said, I was once stuck in traffic on the freeway next to Zachary Quinto, and we were excited, but he rolled his eyes at us and just kept moving.
Awesome.
I also saw that recent video of Justin Timberlake he was driving down the road in LA. Yeah. Did you see the video I'm talking about?
Mm-mm. I saw the one with the harness malfunction. That's the only one I've seen recently.
What?
People were making fun of him.
Wait, what?
They were saying he had a small dick.
What harness? What are you talking about?
Like something from a show, I'm guessing.
What?
Yeah.
He was getting flown in the air?
Must have been.
You look it up. I want to see it.
But what was the video?
Oh, he was driving somewhere in LA and these people were accosting him from their window. Actually, no, they were being very nice. Actually, they were just saying hey, it's Justin Timberlake, da da da, and they were asking him to roll down his window, and then he opened the window and was like, hey, what the F do you want? Duh. He was cursing them out aggressively for no reason. I get that he's in a dark place right now, but there's no excuse to be rude to strangers.
Yeah, there was this.
Oh, this was the incident.
Have you ever seen those memes where it's a picture of Dave Matthews and says Dave Matthews has no songs in his catalog that require him to go this hard?
I thought it was about Pink.
Well, there's that too, but I'm saying the point is there's no way that Justin Timberlake needs a harness of any sort. We're gonna
wait. I'm confused. What is in the video? I don't see it.
we're not gonna play it anyways because the music is gonna get us copyrighted.
Can you play it without the music?
It says this time Timberlake was put in a much larger top, hiding his crotch from view. So I'm guessing they're saying that it made him look less than manly.
But open the video without sound.
Hold on. Let's do this one. No, because we do full screen there, it's gonna.
I'm confused. What is he wearing?
That's the new one. That's the.
What is he wearing?
I have no idea.
What?
Looks like he's wearing
What is
scrubs.
this?
Noticeably longer shirt, it says.
Okay. That's a little weird.
Yep.
Shane H. Wilder said, I looked it up. John Cena has granted over 650 Make-A-Wish wishes and holds the Guinness World Record for it.
Damn.
I just didn't know that children cared about John Cena that much.
Pro wrestling.
Like, how did...
Kids love pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling is not a part of, like, Gen Alpha's upbringing, though.
For kids, it is. WWE is like a publicly traded company now and does huge business with these foundations and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know if he's still doing all of that, but remember, he's been a professional for 25 years, so it wouldn't have been Gen Alpha. It would have been.
I know,
like,
but
it would have been Gen Z that.
These days, kids definitely don't care.
I mean, I think that that's like your own bias because you don't care, but that doesn't mean that other kids don't care. Like, there's all sorts of industries.
I'm
where
talking
you
about people who are over a decade younger than me.
Okay, but
they don't care about wrestling.
I don't know. I think it's still probably pretty popular with kids. They just grow out of it, whereas there's a big gap probably between adults and kids in there. Kids like it when they're younger. Not everybody goes on to like it into adulthood.
Shane H. Wilder said, I met Tom Green a couple of years ago at work. He was high AF and a total dick. He was being interviewed for a stand-up tour. Well, maybe he was just having a hard day. Who knows? Corey Anderson said, Mary, if you met Jesus, you wouldn't fangirl? ?
Would you fangirl?
I don't even know what that means. Shane H. Wilder said the difference, Corey, is that Jesus is to be worshipped. The actors are not. The no flavor zins are good in a pinch. They're the ones I prefer at this point.
No flavor ones?
Yeah.
How long does the flavor last? The whole time you...
Well, I mean, it says it's no flavor, but it does have a flavor. It's just slightly sweet, I guess. But it's the least noticeable of all of them. Lasts for, I guess, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Each.
Better than that fruit stripe gum that lasted for like 6 seconds. And then...
Lasts 20 minutes, and it has half the nicotine of a cigarette. So I think that's pretty good. Jewish AF of Christendom said, interview went well. Now let's pray that I get it.
Let's hope so.
We're praying for you. Schrodinger's Effery said, I once had a dream Timberlake was the Antichrist.
Wait, why though? Why him of all people?
He's definitely not likable enough to be the Antichrist.
Yeah.
He doesn't have most of the requirements, actually. We have a 20 from Jose Quintana. Taco Maker is a ripoff of Taco Bell, has kind of the same color scheme. The food is actually very good. They're scattered throughout the island. Celebrity interaction, Liam Neeson near my job a few years ago. Tell me, when you saw Liam Neeson, was he peeing himself or had he already peed himself? Those are your two options.
Yeah.
Was he currently peeing himself or had he already peed himself by the time that you got to him? And I'm kind of surprised that Dane never told us about Taco Maker as a Puerto Rican.
You'd think he would have. Maybe it didn't...
We talked about Taco Bell quite often.
Maybe it's new.
No, it sounds like it's been around for a while. But I would try it.
Okay, Rita,
I don't think I would go to Puerto Rico, though.
Rita in the chat says, once at Comic-Con, I met the actor from Eureka. He gave me and my sister free ice cream. He was nice. Do you mean Colin Ferguson, the guy who starred in the show as the sheriff? Because that guy's a great actor. So that's good to know. Look, and you're probably going to have better interactions with like a television actor than you are with like a movie star. A lot of those television actors, especially sci-fi and genre actors or character actors who make a great addition to their living by going to Comic-Con or doing cons and conventions, you know, it's in their best interest to be polite and approachable.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fan service.
They're saying Taco Maker is ancient.
Do you remember the Disney show with the Sprouse twins?
No.
I know you didn't watch it.
What was it called?
The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
I mean, I know what it is by name, but obviously I never watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't expect
But I know
you
what
to
it
watch it.
is.
It's not your generation. But I had a relative in the cast, and
Really?
they like arranged to get the whole cast to give us autographs and send them over.
That's cool.
It was like these nice like printouts of the cast with all their signatures. And guess
Wait,
what?
was it like one big cast photo or individual pictures?
The big cast photo, and then all of them.
Cool.
All of them like signed a few of them for me and my brothers, but we lost them.
Dang.
We freaking lost them.
And that's the type of thing where somebody at some holiday is going to bring it up and it's going to get like everyone's going to get mad.
That would probably cost so much money on eBay right now.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Like we were really dumb for that. Probably ended up in the trash in some move.
Maybe my New
Real
Year's
sad.
Maybe I should have made a New Year's resolution to ask for a photo with someone or ask for an autograph.
What? What do you mean?
I never asked to get
With
photos
whom?
with people, with any guest or anyone of note.
Okay.
And I've never understood the autograph thing. But maybe just because I don't do it is a good reason to at least do it once. Challenge yourself to do something that you would never do.
So you would ask.
I have no idea who.
Who would you ask
I have
for
no
an
idea.
autograph?
I have no idea.
The weirdest thing about it to me was always the idea that they're writing this personalized message.
Hey,
too,
champ.
on the spot, under pressure.
Yeah.
I'd rather they just sign something.
a
Jose
20.
Quintana said, Empress, you would be welcomed as royalty on the Emerald Island. Taco Maker has been around forever. Regarding Liam Neeson, met him while he was with a friend. He was messing around with a digital camera. He was cool.
Was he talking about remaking Schindler's List or something?
Well, I just based on what I've heard about Puerto Rico from Dane himself, I wouldn't want to visit. That I think I'll just leave it at that to avoid offending anybody.
P-Tran says, you don't get autographs of your guests on the money from the guns. Actually, yes, we do. And I still have a whole stack of those bills. But those weren't me asking for the autograph. That's me doing so for the show. It's not the same thing.
There were still a few that we missed.
We missed a couple of... I don't
Sadly.
think we got Chrissy Mayers.
Yeah, we were just a little bit...
And then there was somebody else who came...
haphazard.
I think there was also somebody else, and I can't remember who it was, who came twice, and I forgot both times.
Well, that's sad.
I forgot both times.
well.
I got to get better about that. We're almost to a third crisis party. We should get to 4 today, since it was 4 most of the week.
Just keep the streak going.
Yes.
Yeah. Tacti Plati said, next time y'all on IRL Monday through Thursday, I will coordinate with Serge for the People's Joker punking.
I
Need a
don't
heads up,
actually
though.
want to do that.
Hope y'all have a great weekend. I would only...
I've retired that joke. It's not funny anymore. It's just not.
I would slightly be open to it on the after show, but not during the actual live stream, because what you know is going to happen is people are going to be like, what? This is awful.
Yeah.
Like, and it's Brett and Mary's fault that
Yeah.
we're watching this, and that's why we hate them now. Like, it would just be thousands of people saying that it was our fault.
I just don't think it's funny anymore. We did it like 10,000 times. It's
well, it seems like the people on IRL
by the time we were
like,
done,
haven't seen
by
it.
the time we were done, I'm like, Vera Drew completely committed to the bit and was like actually pretty good. So, you know,
You did a whole horseshoe
I did.
around
I can't.
disliking it to liking it to disliking it again.
Well, now I don't dislike it because
Emotional
of it
roller
itself. I
coaster.
dislike it because I've had to see it so many times. But I'm like, commits to the bit, totally goes into the character, whatever.
Confident line delivery.
Yep.
You know?
Good comedic timing. Like, it's like Stockholm Syndrome.
And by the end of it, I was like, yeah, Jared Leto, get on this.
Yeah. Let's make it.
Yeah, but it is kind of dead in the water. So probably not the best idea. And I don't think Tim would find it funny.
I don't either.
Either.
He'd probably be like, what is this?
He would just be confused. Thank you.
Dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
Pop Culture Junkie sent us a 20.
Thank
Actor
you.
Quirk, Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, was famous for shopping at an LA supermarket, and to entertain fans, he would wave his hand like a Jedi. He would time his wave with the electric door exit opening by itself.
His publicists probably love that because it's
yeah.
relevant to the brand.
But, like, why would you be famous for shopping at a supermarket? You know? Like, can the guy just go to the supermarket in peace? This was a thing Michael Jackson talked about. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if it's his local supermarket, what are you going to do?
They didn't have Instacart back then.
Yep.
Red Snow said, almost missed saying praise be to Space King.
In the chat, he says, of course, Tim is Asian. They tend not to have a good sense of humor. Tim has a good sense of humor. It's just...
How would you describe his sense of humor?
There's lore behind the entire video. Like, the entirety of the People's Joker thing has, like, a year's worth of PCC lore that he wouldn't know or care about, so it wouldn't make any sense. It's like taking an inside joke to a friend, or to, like, a friend who's not part of it, they don't laugh, and then you're like, you just don't get it, man. You just don't get a sense of humor.
Jose Quintana said, depends on what part of the island you spend your time in. I've met quite a few celebrities living in NYC, but only once asked for an autograph. It was Rudy Giuliani. By the way, stay away from San Juan, all hype, and a boring waste of time.
Okay. Who would I want an autograph?
Would it be Rudy Giuliani? Thank you for half a crisis party, by the way.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Very much appreciated.
I don't know who I would... Ken Griffey Jr. I would ask for an autograph from. If I met Ken Griffey Jr. in person, I would get a photo and an autograph, but quick.
Not be annoying about it. Not to be
might
too
even be a little annoying about it.
No.
Like that, but that's a sign of how much I loved his playing, how great of an athlete he was. Is that I will make myself look a little stupider than normal just to get the autograph in the picture.
Shane H. Wilder said, since it was brought up yesterday that I sound like an author, on Sunday I'm posting something on Thomas A. Kempis's Meditations on Death.
Well, don't know what that
you're living
means,
up
but-
to your name.
Yeah.
Pete Donovan said, happy Friday. What?
Madrugs.
What does that mean?
Is that a Clockwork Orange reference? I have no
I
idea.
have no idea either. Corey Anderson said, are you giving up Zins or Taco Bell for Lent?
What is the choice this year? Are you gonna get, because you give something else up, like you gave something up last year, right?
So first last year I tried to do the carnivore thing and I felt like I was gonna die, so I stopped doing that, and now I forget what it was that I replaced it with.
Wait, what was I thought you did the carnivore diet for Lent or something.
Yes,
here.
but I didn't last because it made me
Yeah.
feel like I was going to die, as I said, and I don't remember what I replaced it with now. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it. It's in March, so I have plenty of time to figure it out.
Yep.
But those are definitely in the running. Tacti Platty said, fine, you win again. No People's Joker.
I do appreciate that.
The era is over. Yeah. Dingus Khan said, has anyone ever asked for either of you to sign an autograph or take a selfie in public?
Well, you have the story from the airport of the
What story?
the same airport worker who.
Oh no, I mean that's different. Like I've been recognized as me in public genuinely like so many times that I don't know. But none of those people had ever asked for a selfie or like an autograph.
Yeah.
So not that I can remember.
Maybe it's because they watch the show and they're like, she wouldn't like that.
Maybe they just know like not to test me.
Yeah.
I am pretty nice though.
Oh yeah.
I promise.
She's a very nice person.
But I don't know, at any of our like events has that happened to you?
At the Mr. Burcham one, but that was somebody recognized.
Someone asked for a selfie?
No, yeah, well, yeah, no, that gentleman recognized me from skating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You had met before?
I'd never met him before.
Oh.
I've been recognized more for skating than I have for the show.
How often?
Not super regularly, but it does happen.
Pete Donovan said, Brett, if you dislike Bob Dylan, does that mean you also dislike the Traveling Wilburys? It's got Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, and George Harrison too.
No, because my dad loved the Traveling Wilburys, so they get a pass.
Zach Hates YouTube said, Happy Friday. I realized that yesterday's episode represented Gen Z, Millennials, and Gen X. Pretty cool.
Yes, one from each generation. Honestly, if I was to do a YouTube channel that wasn't this one, like that wasn't this, if there was something else that of interest to me that I would really enjoy doing continuous, like, regular content on, it would be talking about how different generations see different topics, which would be like either talking with or analyzing trends as they relate to millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, especially Gen X, I think, because it's probably horrible business wise because they're a lost generation. So it's like nobody's looking for Gen X content.
There's less to be complaining about in there.
But I find how different generations meld to be kind of fascinating. That's probably what I would do if I wasn't doing this.
We got a 20 from Zach Hates YouTube. Regarding Beanie Babies, most people collected them because they thought they would be worth something. The current craze of adults buying stuffed animals is because everyone thinks they're autistic and needs support.
It is true that everybody thought that there's kind of like comic books in the speculator market and comic books. Even my mom bought the Death of Superman comic that just sat in a closet for years thinking it was going to be worth money. It was, of course, not worth any money. It happens.
Well, there are plenty of, like, collectors' Barbies that ended up being worth way more money.
The or in I guess in Beanie Babies it was like having a Tabasco instead of a snort, or was it a snort instead of a Tabasco? They were like the same one but a little bit different, and one of them was worth a lot of money and the other one wasn't.
Was the
I think Tabasco was the one that was worth a lot of money, but maybe it's the other way around.
Was the Princess Diana one the rare one?
My mom had that too, and when my mom passed I found that in storage.
Might be worth a lot of money.
I don't think it is.
No?
I don't think it is, no.
I don't know. Matt Poole sent us a 20. Only celebrity I ever asked for an autograph was Chester Bennington. It wasn't even for myself, but my best friend. He even showed me LP's new studio bus, and I got to hear some of Reanimation before its release.
Like, you got like a
That's
back
super cool.
Like, companies pay for access like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. Jewish AF of Christendom said, I love Keanu Reeves. He's a rare type. Don't be hatin'. Yeah, I know that's a cardinal sin on the internet. You can't say anything negative about Keanu Reeves.
They're saying Tabasco is the expensive one. I was right.
Carnell said, Brett, if you had an opportunity to take a photograph with Tom Cruise or Denzel Washington, who are you choosing? The Tom Cruise candle can hear you, by the way.
Denzel Washington, he's older.
Wow. So you would just have more time to track down
Theoretically,
Tom Cruise eventually.
I could
That's
track
rather
down
morbid.
Tom Cruise later. Denzel Washington. It's kind of a meme, but I don't actually love Tom Cruise as much as the joke lets on. Not that I don't really like his approach to filmmaking, but if we're talking about who I watch more movies from growing up, it's Denzel Washington. So,
would you fanboy?
Probably, yeah.
Would you be like,
no, I wouldn't, because he's older and he's more dignified, and I feel like he would look down on me for doing that. Maybe silently judging, but definitely still judging, and he would have right to do so.
Just Cause I'm Free said, would love a Crisis Party theme with Mary doing screaming metal vocals. I am not physically capable of doing what Phil does. That's just not even gonna happen. I would definitely hurt myself and lose my voice if I tried to do that. Sorry to disappoint.
We're about a quarter of the way, a little over a quarter. Oh, now getting closer to half the way to a 5th Crisis Party. I think we had 5 yesterday.
Nice. Well, I mean, we did reach the goal of 4, so that's nice. Jose Quintana said, will there be a special Inauguration Day show? Long live PCC.
Well, actually, no. I mean, there will be a show that day, but Mary is going to be...
I think it's special.
Mary's going to be in D.C. for the inauguration, right?
Yeah, I was planning to go regardless. It's a historic day, so... that's where I'm going to be.
I believe, unless plans change, me and Kellen are going to do a show that day.
That's why I think it's special.
Yeah. Be fun.
So, yes.
It'll be chill.
To your question, yes. Rapscallion said, what you have to do is make Tim experience the People's Joker next time he's on PCC. Even if it's a dead joke, at least he'll be in on it. Also, the Traveling Wilburys are one of the best supergroups out there. Tim would not get the People's Joker.
All right.
He wouldn't get it. Some things are just meant for us to enjoy. Pete Donovan said, Brett, you gave me the idea the other day to have well-done steak with ketchup for dinner on Inauguration Day. Thank you for that.
Did I make that suggestion?
But you gotta pair it with the Diet Coke, or else it's not correct.
That doesn't sound like something I would say.
I feel like you must have said something about how Trump likes well-done steak with ketchup. Yeah.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
I'm sure you did it.
I'm fantastic and insightful.
We don't remember anything that we say,
No.
just so you know.
No.
Red Snow said we should get 5 parties to finish the week.
We're getting there.
We're very close. Rena Ran That Way said, I met Adam West and he called me a bitch for stealing his water. It was awesome.
Okay.
Congratulations, or sorry that happened to you. Not really sure which. Shane H. Wilder said the only 2 autographs I have are an autographed Alice Cooper album and Father Carlos Martin's latest book.
Okay.
That's cool.
Cool.
You met Father Carlos Martin's? I would love to.
I say we hang out here until we get the fifth crisis party. We're getting close.
Let me check.
Mary's like, I want to get home.
We need $30.
Yeah.
So we can wait.
We're getting there. I would be okay. No, first of all, we have to end the poll, right? Hold on here.
I want to know for real if wokeness is dead.
Says 24% say yes, 75% say no. It is
Everyone
not dead
keeps
yet.
saying that wokeness is dead, though. So who am I supposed to believe? I don't know. Just I genuinely thought that would be like an even split in the audience. High Voltage 75 said, I got one, Mary. No bleaching hair for Lent.
I mean, is that a problem? Can you do?
No.
How often do you bleach your hair?
Once a month.
Once a month. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's kind of stupid. No Control said, Happy Friday. Let's go for about 6 or 9 crisis parties.
Well, I would love that personally, but
we would be here a little bit longer than we would otherwise. So I don't think that's going to be possible today. But
it would always be nice if that was to happen, though.
I'm open to being surprised.
Yep.
I think we're all caught up on the super chats, though.
All right. Luffy is God says Brett is still here, so no, woke is getting weak though. I guess I'm woke by that.
Are you woke?
That's me.
I'm hearing all of these contradicting narratives. One day Brett's a misogynist, the next he's woke. I don't know what to believe about this man.
You'll never know. I have no idea. There's another one there from Shane H. Wilder.
The inner machinations of his mind. Shane H. Wilder, I've met Father Martin's twice. Once when he was touring 150 relics, and then last year when he toured the arm of St. Jude.
Okay.
I should be finding out if they stop anywhere near here. Lisan Al-Gaibi said, met James Marston. Is that what you mean to say? Or
No, it's Marster.
Marster.
Yep.
At a convention, told him that he was the self-absorbed person I'd love to hang out with, and he laughed and said thank you.
Awesome.
Jose Quintana said Brett got Guy Lafleur, Brian Leach, and Mike Richter autos in person.
Wow. Guy Lafleur. Hockey players.
Guy?
Guy.
It's spelled Guy, and it
Guy.
said Guy?
Guy.
That's insane.
Mary's like, let's stop it. Hold the phone.
I'm not going to say it like that. That's insane. Just no.
And Matt Gingell is correct. His best work is narrating the Dresden Files audiobooks. He's, of course, referring to James Marster. He does the narration for those books. Those are great. At one point, I got very lucky. Somebody had uploaded all of them to YouTube, and I could just listen to them at my leisure. And then one day they were just gone, and I was sad.
Gee,
I'm never
why.
gonna have it Audible.
Jewish AF of Christendom said, I got my head smacked by Bobby Knight, IU coach.
Okay. Well, did you play for him? That'd be cool.
Sarah G said, Brett, I thought you worked for Daily Wire.
That's a different Brett that worked for the Daily Wire. See what I would do.
It's easy to get
if
them
I
confused.
if I really wanted to feel good about myself, I would just go open Brett Cooper videos and just read the comments that just use the first name and have people shower me with praise.
Mari Pari 98 said, my sister went to Comic-Con and met Sean Astin and was so overwhelmed that she started crying, and he was so sweet, comforting her and making sure she was okay.
Okay, so like imagine the ego that one must.
Not laughing at your sister.
No. I'm laughing.
It's-
So look, and I don't know if Sean Astin, good person, bad person, but I'm just saying, like, you can't expect that to happen to a person and not have them develop just a little
bit of a God complex,
of an
yeah.
ego. Like, you can't even fault them for it.
Right.
Like, look, I just show up and women just cry for me. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, it's not a recipe for virtue. Dake Koth said, this joke got me banned on Twitch. It's 2025. You can't tell jokes anymore. Even knock-knock jokes are offensive to the homeless. That got you banned on Twitch.
Lol.
They're kind of crazy. Red Snow said, my only signature autograph was from the band Arsis. Haven't heard of it. Shane H. Wilder said, guy pronounced gee sounds gay. True. Pop Culture Junkie said, layer up in DC, Mary. It's going to be 10 degrees. I know. It's awful. It just sounds like inhumane.
Just no. See, here's the thing. It sounds like common sense, but it is unbelievably true. Layers and like form-fitting layers underneath, meaning like a thermal and a tight-fitting shirt, and then a thermal tight-fitting shirt, long sleeve, and then your hoodie, and then your jacket. You'll be fine. Limit the amount of places wind can get.
Yeah.
Neck. Like a what do you call it? Like either a scarf or some type of neckband, something like that. Anything to limit the amount of photos that I've seen recently, like from back when I was walking everywhere in Minnesota in the middle of winter, and my head just looks enormous from like the 4 layers of shirts, then the scarf, then the hoodie, then the jacket with the additional hood, and then the face mask to stop the wind.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of end up looking like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, which is pretty cool, but it's a good way to stop it. And if you're walking around a lot, just keep moving and limit the amount of, like, no open jackets. Actually zip up your jacket.
Mm-hmm. It's just going to be bad no matter what, though.
Yep.
Pete Donovan said, Mary, I think Guy is a French name. Oh, well then.
Yep.
So let's just pronounce every French word the French way. Because they're right?
Exactly.
No Control said, try a battery-powered heated vest.
You can get those, you can get heating,
Wow.
like, who was it here? Chris had like a heated jacket that you could charge.
Well, I'm leaving tomorrow, so I don't think I have
can't
enough
put these
time
orders in.
to place the order for that on Amazon. I'm sorry. I might just die. Rapscallion said, met Dash Cooper, Alice Cooper's son, and got autographs from him and his band on a poster from the show. My brother's band opened for them as well.
That's awesome. How do you feel about the name Dash?
It must be short for something, right?
I don't know. Dashel? Like Dashiell Hammett?
I guess it's cute.
Yep.
Kind of reminds me of Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony, though. He's
All
gonna
right.
get bullied.
Guys, before we go, I think we still did the 5th Crisis Party go off yet or no? I don't know if that one did.
So?
Either way, guys, hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. But Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
There's 2 more there.
Jose Quintana said, you are the Ghost Empress. You will control the weather like Storm of the X-Men. I don't think I have the ability to do that. I wish. DCNC said Sub-Zero down forward punch.
Yeah.
What?
Freeze somebody in Mortal Kombat.
I
I did the motion.
Believe it
nobody
or
saw
not,
yeah.
I haven't played Mortal Kombat.
That's your own
Shane
loss.
H. Wilder said French, so it is gay. Also, Mary, you doing the March for Life next Friday. I won't be able to. I would rather not take 2 days out of the studio in the same week. So I wish that were in a different week, though. Pop Culture Junkie said, I met Colin Ferguson from Eureka at Comic-Con in 2014. Got a picture with him on my phone, sent it to him. He signed it and sent it
What?
back.
Wait, so he just like gave you his phone number?
That's so nice.
That's awesome.
That's a little bit too nice,
Yeah.
actually. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the fifth
I will tell you that Colin Ferguson, that show Eureka was a very good example of like just the right level of chemistry testing for the two leads between him and Sally Richardson Whitfield. Because I tended to feel like the plot with him and Allison tended to drag, but it was still shut up. Thank you. I missed that area, that time period of like low budget sci-fi is the like when people are like, do you like Star Trek or Star Wars? I'm like, I like stuff from the Sci-Fi channel in 2006. That's what I like.
One more from Pete Donovan. I once got a friendly slap on the shoulder from a record producer, Ethan Johns.
Okay.
I hope it was friendly.
All right, guys, if you would like to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is usually here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. I do believe we will have a show on Monday. It'll be me, Kellen, and maybe some other people, but it might just be me and Kellen. But either way, we are probably going to have a show. We'll have to double check everything, but it is the day of the inauguration, so maybe we'll it wouldn't like be in brand, but maybe we'll like react to the inauguration even though it's over at that point because it's like 3 hours before then, I believe.
What time of day?
Does anybody know what time the election is actually on?
I have no idea.
I think it's at like noon, so maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But guys, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show, you can rate and review on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. That helps the show out greatly if you listen to it. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok because they're about to get banned on Sunday, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Mary, there's one more there.
Pop Culture Junkie said, to clarify, I printed the photo and sent it to his agent.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
A lot of effort there.
All right, guys. We will be back with another episode on Monday. We'll see y'all then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.